رفتہ اے لال باندھ دو اے روزہ دارو علی لعنت اللہ علی القوم الظالمین علی صلوات اللہم صلی اللہ
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Hassan, Jazakumullah. Brother Shahryar, wherever you were in your house, the signals were very weak, so it was a bit scratchy. So if you could
I'm
that
sorry.
in consideration, your next recitation, so that we can benefit from it, inshallah. MashaAllah.
Inshallah, inshallah. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's not your fault. So the program is being streaming live on YouTube as well. Now, requesting Brother Abbas Reza to present his hadiyah towards Amir al-Mu'mineen. Brother Abbas Reza. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. ہو گئی آبِ پدر زینب، ہو گئی آبِ پدر زینب، کم ہے اب روئے جس قدر زینب، ہو گئی آہ پدر زینب، آج ہے فرش غم پہ لہذا آج ہے فرش غم پہ لہذا باپ کے غم میں نوح گر زینب، ہو گئی آب پدر زینب، روک لے اپنے آنسوؤں کو ذرا، روک لے اپنے آنسوؤں کو ذرا، اب تو رونا ہے عمر بھر زینب، ہو گئی آب پدر زینب، ابتدا ہے ابھی تو کوفے میں، ابتدا ہے ابھی تو کوفے میں، تجھ کو ہونا ہے در بدر زینب، ہو گئی آب پدر زینب، مجمع عام ہوگا گلیوں میں، مجمع عام ہوگا گلیوں میں، اور ہوگی برہن سر زینب، ہو گئی آب پدر زینب تیرے نالوں سے ہو رہا ہے بپا تیرے نالوں سے ہو رہا ہے بپا ایک کوہرام عرش پر زینب ہو گئی آب پدر زینب سیدہ گئی ہے جنت سے سیدہ گئی ہے جنت سے سارا ماتم کدا ہے گھر زینب ہو گئی آب پدر زینب رونقیں اٹھ رہی ہے دنیا سے رونقیں اٹھ رہی ہے دنیا سے جا رہا ہے تیرا پدر زینب ہو گئی آب پدر زینب کم ہے اب روئے جس قدر زینب ہو گئی آب پدر زینب صلوات اللہم
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى Muhammad.
احسنتم
Jazakumullah khair. So it's your first time, mashallah. We didn't know you had this sort of sifat as well. Alhamdulillah. So I will invite Brother Abbas to recite. This would be the last recitation before Sheikh Shirazi's speech.
السلام علیکم
علیکم السلام
محمد سلام
علیکم السلام
یہ غربت علی ہے یہ غربت ہے یہ غربت علی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے حق مانگنے جو زہرا دربار میں گئی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے آواز آ رہی ہے میں بنت مصطفیٰ ہوں بابا کے کلمہ گویو میں ہی تو فاطمہ ہوں پہچاننے سے دنیا انکار کر رہی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے سن کر سلام حیدر کوئی نہیں ہے رکتا واجب نہیں سمجھتا کوئی جواب دینا افسوس فاطمہ بھی سوچ کر دیکھا ہے مجتبا نے ظالم نے ضرب ماری کیسے خدا ہی جانے بنتے نبی زمین پر غش کھا کے گر پڑی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے کہتی ہیں رو کے زہرا جانے نہ دوں گی تنہا پٹ کے میں مرتضیٰ کے ہے ہاتھ سیدہ کا اب ہے کسی کا درہ اور دختر نبی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے پہلو بھی ہے شکستہ ہاتھوں پہ بھی ہے چھالے ہے آپ کی امانت اب آپ کے حوالے یہ کہہ کے مرتضیٰ نے میت نبی کو دی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے کیسے لکھے تکلم غربت علی ولی کی زوجہ صحابیوں کے دربار میں گئی تھی بیٹی شرابیوں کے دربار میں گئی ہے یہ غربت علی ہے صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد جزاکم اللہ خیر احسنت ہے تم کو اختیار کرو تم کسی کی بات میں بندہ علی ہوں کروں گا علی کی بات مشکل میں ہر نبی نے کی مشکل میں ہر نبی کی یہ ورد زباں رہی خیبر میں کچھ نئی نہ تھی ناد علی کی بات پاکیزگی نفس نہیں جس میں اے سروش مر جائے گا مگر نہ کرے گا علی کی بات. I invite Sheikh Shirazi to please educate us on Amir al-Mu'minin's life and his shahada. For Muhammad wa ala Muhammad sallallahu
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توغى وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. All those who have requested for du'as, especially those who are ill and ailing and have requested for the special attention of mu'mineen, remembering them in all your sacred occasions and your du'as. Don't forget them. Uzkuruni azkurkum. You remember them, you will be remembered as well. That is how the system Allah has made. May Allah grant them complete shifa. All those who have departed, Allah ease their onward journey, grant them the highest of ranks and stations for all the pains they went through, especially in this lockdown. In a glorious quote from Imam Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam, Imam says, Bunya al-Islamu ala khams, ala salati wal-zakati wal-sawm wal-hajj wal-wilaya, wama walam yunada bishay'in kama nudiya bil-wilaya. Islam is based on five, on salat, prayers, on zakat, on fasting, on hajj, and on wilaya. And Imam says nothing from these five has been addressed as wilayat has been addressed. So wilayat means the custodianship or the imamat of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So it is not just mahabbat, not just mawaddat, but it is the issue of the leadership, the imamat, the custodianship of the imams alayhim salam. Because if the imamat is there, if the custodianship is there, then everything else will be in place. Salat will be in place, zakat will be in place, hajj and khums and all that, jihad will be in place. But then when you take away imamat from the system, then everything will fall apart. وَلَمْ يُنَادَ بِشَيْءٍ كَمَا نُودِيَ بِالْوِلَايَةِ. So to none of them so much of importance has been given or addressed, it has been addressed as this wilaya has been addressed. Saqifa that was installed, that was established after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not for the mawaddat or the mahabbat, but to deprive the Ahlul Bayt and Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam from that imamat, from that khilafat, from that leadership. The fadail that Amirul Mu'mineen has, they are of different types. For some of them are the fadail which were God given. Allah gave him those qualities. Some of them he acquired these qualities. Some of them were effective in his personalities, some of them not effective. Now, one of the qualities that is given to Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam is his birth in Kaaba. Now, no one can be born in Kaaba by way of taqleed. Also, no one can try and be born in Kaaba. Not possible. That was the irada, the intention of Allah, that Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam be born in Kaaba. Why? That maslahat Allah, He knows. Likewise, we see that Prophet Isa alayhi salam also, when the mother Hazrat Maryam salamullah alayha was being mocked at, and then Isa also was born without a father, doesn't mean that out of all those 124,000 prophets, he is special. No. Maslahat was such that Allah wanted him to be born without a father. Maslahat was such that Allah wanted Amir al-Mu'mineen to be born in the Kaaba. So these are these masalih that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He knows best what the reason behind that. Until the day of judgment, we don't know. As Amir al-Mu'mineen has been appointed by Rasulullah to continue with the mission of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His maslahat was such that he from day one be distinct, be different to everyone else. That is Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. One of the titles Rasulullah gave him is that he is Ya'sub ad-Din, that is, he is like the queen bee, and every other bee clusters around the queen bee and is in service of the queen bee. Mu'mineen are also supposed to be like that, cluster around the queen bee in the same beehive. So, wilayat of the Imam alayhi salam means accepting the Imam in all walks of life, in what Allah has revealed to Rasulullah, in the book that was sent to Rasulullah, in the guidance that was provided by Rasulullah, in all the do's and all the don'ts that Allah has prescribed via Rasulullah for the mu'mineen. So when someone accepts all of that, he has accepted the wilayat, the imamat, the custodianship of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. There are numerous ayat and riwayat that talk about the qualities of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, but many of them, many people, they don't accept, although they knew that what qualities he carries and what beauty he has, all these attributes that were mentioned by Rasulullah in Quran. There are so many ayat in Quran. Some of the Sunni ulama, they are of the opinion that there are about 300 ayat in Quran that no one can be a partner to those Amir al-Mu'mineen in those ayat. So exclusively those ayat were revealed for Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Now, the reason why people they don't accept or they deny and they reject, it's وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجْعَلِ اللَّهُ لَهُ نُورًا فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ نُورٍ. Those who have no light, then there is no light for them. They cannot see. When they are blinded, they cannot see what can be done. Quran says, فَمَنْ يَهْدِي مَنْ أَضَلَّ اللَّهُ وَمَا لَهُم مِّن نَاصِرِينَ. So who can guide him who Allah has made him like that? That cannot be guided. He cannot be guided, and he shall have no helper. Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, with God-given qualities, but his attitude and his character also, it played a big role in shaping his personality. Now, when you look into the riwayat, for example, and the belief system that we have, we believe that Allahu Nurus Samawati wal Ard. Allah is the light, the nur of the skies and the earth. And then this nur of Allah is that nur of guidance. And also in the creation of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, we see that this nur has a role to play. Here, Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam is from Abu Talib, and then Rasulullah is from Abdullah, both of them brothers. And the grandfather, all the way until Prophet Adam, they are together. This nur is together. It splits in Rasulullah's grandfather, and from one Amir al-Mu'mineen is created, from the other it is Rasulullah who is created, who is given birth, born. So that is one nur of Rasulullah that has split into two, one in the form of Amir al-Mu'mineen and the other in the form of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. So that is regarding the creation of Amirul Mu'mineen. So the two are one. And also when you look into all of these observances, like for example, yesterday when we had the A'mal done, there it was the night of Amirul Mu'mineen, but Rasulullah is being remembered. On the nights of Rasulullah, Amirul Mu'mineen is being remembered. So that is something that Allah has created the two as one. That is Nafsun Nabi, the soul of Nabi that was mentioned by the Prophet. That is something which Quran has mentioned, that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has said so. Now, as to what Rasulullah's Amir al-Mu'mineen's religion was, Rasulullah's religion was before Bi'asat, many different opinions are there. Follower of Prophet Ibrahim, he was Prophet, or Isa. Amir al-Mu'mineen in Nahjul Balagha, he says that Rasulullah, he was Muwahhid, and he was from among the followers of Hanif. That is, that from day one it was Islam, the religion that was propagated, that was mentioned, that was shown, that was propagated by Rasulullah. Amir al-Mu'mineen in Nahj Balagha says, وَلَقَدْ قَرَنَ اللَّهُ بِهِ مِنْ لَدُنْ أَنْ كَانَ فَطِيمًا أَعْظَمَ مَلَكٍ مِنْ مَلَائِكَتِهِ يَسْلُكُ بِهِ طَرِيقَ الْمَكَارِمِ. That Allah, He wanted Rasulullah to be distinct, to be known to everyone. From day one, the greatest of His angels were sent to Rasulullah to keep and to continuously guide him, train him, all of these makarim and ethics and manners. Now that was for Rasulullah. Now, when it comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen himself, he says that Rasulullah, he raised me, Rasulullah, he fed me, I was by Rasulullah all the way through, just like a baby camel who is always after the mother. I was after Rasulullah from the day I was born. And also when the wahi is revealed for the first time upon Rasulullah, And then here Amir al-Mu'mineen says that, Ya Rasulullah, what was that scream I heard? Here Rasulullah says, إِنَّكَ تَسْمَعْ مَا أَسْمَعْ وَتَرَى مَا أَرَى إِلَّا أَنَّكَ لَسْتَ بِنَبِيٍّ. You see what I see, you hear what I hear. Difference between you and me is that I am a Nabi, you are not. So Rasulullah, when Wahy was being revealed to him, Jibreel delivers the messages. Amirul Mu'mineen hears, Amirul Mu'mineen sees the conversation between the two, the message being delivered to Rasulullah. Difference is that Rasulullah is Rasul, he is not. Like two people sitting next to each other and a third person coming and talking to the first one, the second one also knows that someone here in front of you is talking to you, to the one sitting next to you. Amirul Mu'mineen was that close to Rasulullah that he says that I enjoyed the company of Rasulullah all the time. I was just 10 at the time of Bi'sat, meaning that even then they were believers, they were faithful. When Wahy was revealed upon the Prophet, he says that I heard a scream. I asked Rasulullah, what was that? Rasulullah says that was shaitan in despair, being unable to misguide after this Bi'sat of mine, being appointed as Rasulullah. And in the same khutbah, Amirul Mu'mineen says that I saw the nur of Rasulullah in his face and I heard the Wahy. Wahy was addressed to the Prophet, but Imam Ali was also there and I heard. Now, these are some of the qualities that Amirul Mu'mineen had. There are qualities that Imam he acquired himself, that is his worship, services he was providing to the people, management of affairs in town and wars and battles in office, administration, then his feelings, his pains, his emotions towards people who were in need, like widows and orphans, and all those who were ill and ailing, and all that, that's weeping, the crying, the sermons of Amirul Mu'mineen are all these issues that shaped his personality. Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, with such brilliant and beautiful past, he is the successor and the Imam of everyone. Amirul Mu'mineen, the fadail that we have that have been mentioned by Rasulullah. One of the other fadail is that he says that Aliyun, that Allah, he instructed the doors that were opening into the Masjidun Nabi to be shut. Says all the doors be shut, because when Rasulullah he moved to Medina, Mu'mineen Muslims, they wanted their homes to be near the Masjidun Nabi. So they built their houses around Masjidun Nabi with two doors, one door towards the opening in the mosque and one door opening outside their homes. So when it was time for prayers, they walked into the masjid from their homes. The ahkam for ghusl and taharat and janamat were revealed to Rasulullah. He informs them, and then Allah says, all the doors opening into the masjid be closed. Amirul Mu'mineen wanted to close the door of his house. There is no, this one is an exception. This door has to remain open all the time. So the doors of all doors opening in the masjid were closed. Exception was this door of the house of Amirul Mu'mineen and Zahra Salamullahi alayha. Amirul Mu'mineen, he was by Rasulullah at all time. Rasulullah, he sought him whenever he was in need. Right from the beginning, in the Kaaba, when the idols were to be demolished, here Rasulullah, he couldn't reach those idols that were high up. Here he asked Amirul Mu'mineen to stand on his shoulders. Amirul Mu'mineen stood on the shoulders of Rasulullah. And on the shoulder was the seal of Nubuwwat. So Amirul Mu'mineen is standing on that and then knocking down these idols. So Rasulullah also calls Amirul Mu'mineen. Now when we say Nade Aliyan is not only for us. Even Rasulullah called Amirul Mu'mineen whenever he was in need of help. Everyone calls Amirul Mu'mineen when in need of help. The qualities which he carries, they are amazing, they are beautiful. For example, when the burial of Amir al-Mu'mineen took place and Imam Hassan and Hussein were returning after the burial, they see a person ill, crippled, disabled, was crying there. Imam Mujtaba, now he is the Imam, he stops by that person and says, "What is the reason? Why are you crying? What is wrong?" He says, "He hasn't come, he hasn't come." Imam Mujtaba asks, "Who hasn't come?" He says, "I don't know who he was, but he looked after me, he cared for me, he washed me, he cleaned me, he fed me, he cared for me. It's 3 days now. Whenever he wanted to go somewhere, he used to notify me that I'll be away for that many days and I'll come back." Says 3 days, neither has he notified me, nor has he come to me. I don't know who he was. Imam Mujtaba says, "He won't come anymore." Says, "And what makes you say that? Who was he?" Says, "That was Amirul Mu'mineen, Ali alayhi salatu wassalam." Now the first person, and now how much caring and down to earth, that someone who is disabled, someone who is in need, is being looked after by the Imam alayhi salam, and no one knew. So these are those qualities that shaped his personality. Among the other qualities is how he used to deliver bread and all the grocery to the people who were in need. No one knew that it was Amir al-Mu'mineen, the first person, and doing these types of jobs and delivering food and grocery to their homes. Now we do find that even Amir al-Mu'mineen and Imam Sajjad, on their shoulders there was a mark, that when the body was being washed over there, they found out that it was those heavy bags that he used to carry at night and deliver them to the people in need. And they also did not know that it was Ali, Amir al-Mu'mineen, doing this job. First person, and all these tasks were observed and done by Amir al-Mu'mineen. Judiciary, judgments of Amir al-Mu'mineen also second to none. That even all these who stood against Amir al-Mu'mineen, and this Saqifa was established to drive away and seize away the imamate of Amir al-Mu'mineen, even they, when they were in need, they got stuck. They had no answer. And then when Amir al-Mu'mineen helped them out, they used to say that Lawla Aliyun la halak, that if it wasn't for Ali, we were ruined. So despite all these beautiful traits and qualities that Amir al-Mu'mineen had, how come he was deprived? How come that imamat was seized away from him? In Dua Nujba, we do recite in the first few sentences, says, Lam yumtasal amru Rasulullah. The reason for all that decline, that head-on collision, was disobedience to Rasulullah. Rasulullah, from the age of 13 or 10 of Amir al-Mu'mineen, he was emphasizing upon Amir al-Mu'mineen the rank he has and the qualities he has, and his imamat, his khilafat, his wilayat, and also it was jealousy. The reason why they killed Amir al-Mu'mineen, and this was mentioned in on the day of Ashura, when Imam Hussein says that, why do you kill me? Lima taqtulunani? In reply, they say that the hatred we have towards your father Ali, that is the reason. Imam says, hatred towards my father Ali, and what was that for? Says, Bima fa'ala bi ashyakhina yawma Badr wa Hunayn. In the battles of Badr and Hunayn, what he did to our forefathers, that is, he killed those faithless lot who stood against the Prophet. That was the reason why they killed Ali, Amir al-Mu'mineen, and that is the reason why they are killing Abu Abdullah and Hussein alayhi salam. Amir al-Mu'mineen, the knowledge that he has, the qualities that he has, the miracles that he carries. Now, we believe that whatever the Prophet had, Imams, they have all those miracles. And undone jobs and tasks of the Prophet are done by the Imam. So whatever was incomplete by Rasulullah, that is completed by Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Over here we see that one of these Yemenis during the time of Rasulullah, he comes to Medina and meets Rasulullah, says, I heard you are the Prophet. He says, yes, I am. What miracles do you have? Says, whatever miracle you want. Says, from whichever prophet you want, I can show, I can prove. Says, what is your miracle in particular? Rasulullah says, my miracle is Quran. Says, and what is that? It's a book. It has these verses. Now this Yemeni, he says, I'm illiterate. I can't read. I don't know what that is. So show me one of those standard miracles that other prophets they had, like giving life to dead, and so on and so forth. He says, whatever you want. He says that I want a camel, that 4 camels, in fact, from the, like the camel of Saleh, to emerge from the mountain. Rasulullah says, okay, anything special in that? He says, I want red camels. He says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and from the mountain the camel emerges. He says, another one comes. Says, how many in total? 4. He says, I'll take these 2 and then I'll return and collect the other 2 later. And he goes to Yemen, becomes one of the propagators of Rasulullah, comes and talks to everyone that this is the Prophet, he has these miracles, and he propagates. After 3 months, he returns to get the other 2 camels, and now Rasulullah has passed away. Comes and says, where is the Prophet? Says, passed away. It doesn't matter, he should be having a successor. Who is the successor? Says, successor is Abu Bakr. They come to Abu Bakr. You are the successor of the Prophet? He says, yes, I am. Says, your Prophet owes me 2 camels. Says, I've come to collect them. Says, okay, give him 2 camels. Says, not like that. I want the 2 camels that he owes, not these random ones. Says, take 50, take 100 and go. Says, no, I just want 2 and the red ones, just like the red ones he gave me from the mountain. Now they had no answer over here. In all these places, we had Amir al-Mu'mineen's representatives, like Salman was present in that meeting of Abu Bakr. He says, Alayka bi Abul Hasan. You go to Abul Hasan, that is Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salam. Now he is deprived from the Khilafat, and he comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen, the Yemeni, says that the Prophet, he owes me 2 camels. Imam says, yes, I was present. And Imam's age over here is 33 years old. Says, I was present with the Prophet by the mountain. He gave you the 2 camels. Says, I've come to collect the other 2. He says, okay. Brings him to the same mountain. Just like Rasulullah, he stood. And all those witnesses who were there then are the witnesses now. He stood by the mountain, and like Rasulullah says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and from the mountain a camel emerged, exactly the red one he wanted. And a second one came, and then he took them, got happy, and says that Allahu ya'lam haythu yaj'al risalatah. Allah knows where to send his risala, his guidance. So these are some of the qualities that can be mentioned in this such short time for Amir al-Mu'mineen, and all the weeping and the crying he has, that he digs so many wells for the people, anyone in need. Amir al-Mu'mineen, he made a lot of money, worked very hard, dug so many wells, and in farms and in crops, in irrigation of lands. All of these services were provided by Amir al-Mu'mineen. And he digs these wells, and then it's waqf for those people living in that place to benefit from. Numerous, countless wells were dug by Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. On a day like today, being the day of Zarbat of Amir al-Mu'mineen when he was wounded, it was mentioned yesterday that Amir al-Mu'mineen, he comes to the mosque, he sees Ibn Muljam la'natullahi alayhi sleeping on his belly with the sword under his belly. Imam comes and wakes him up, says not to sleep like that, not to sleep on the belly, or either on your right like the ulama, or the left like the hukama, like the anbiya, or like the hukama, like the wise, or sleep on your back like the prophets, not on the belly, because that is how shaitan sleeps. And then Imam says, if you want, I can notify you of what your intentions are and what is hidden under there, under your shirt. Imam occupies himself in worship. Time for adhan, gets on and recites the adhan. The adhan was heard by everyone in Kufa. And then Imam comes and occupies himself in the Fajr prayers. He was in sajda, and this mal'oon, he comes and attacks on the Mubarak head of the Imam. It hit the same spot that was injured in the battle of Khandaq and was hit by Amr at that time. The head of Imam, it splits open, and Imam, he could not continue his prayers. And here the reporters, they say that he continued his prayers in the sitting posture. Imam Mujtaba, he continued with the prayers, and Imam, he was throwing this dust on his wound because of that burning sensation in the wound, for that to cool down. And then Imam says that Fuzdu wa Rabbil Kaaba, by the Lord of Kaaba, I attained prosperity. Minha khalaqnakum, we were created from this dirt. To this dirt we will return, and from that dirt we will be raised and resurrected. This is what Allah has promised, and the Prophet had promised. وَصَدَقَ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. And then at this point we hear the cry of Jibreel. He raises his cry, تَهَدَّمَتْ وَاللَّهُ أَرْكَانُ الْهُدَى. The pillars of guidance, they shook, and all the stars, they dispersed. The strong cord, it shattered, and it is the cousin of Rasulullah has been killed, and the chosen successor has been killed, and all these calls were raised by Jibreel. Now, Imam is still in Masjid al-Kufa, in that mihrab. Imam, they come and very quickly this news spreads around Kufa, and everyone gathers in the masjid. And Imam was there. So people, they come and ask who did that. They said it was Ibn Muljam Muradi. And they asked Imam that, did you see him? He says it was Ibn Muljam. He says, from which door? He points out at the door. That door was the door that led towards the Kinda, the locality towards Kinda. People, they got together, they got hold of Ibn Muljam very quickly, and he was brought to the presence of the Imam alayhi salam. Now here Imam says to his sons that I want you to be kind to this captive of yours. I want you to provide him with food and drink. I don't want you to chain him. I don't want you to handcuff him. I want you to keep him like that, feed him with the same food that you eat. And if I survived, I know how to deal with him. If I want, I'll forgive him, or I'll just reduce the punishment he needs to be seen. And if I die, Hassan, he struck me with one strike, I want you to strike him with just one strike, not more than that. If he dies with that one strike, then he's dead. Otherwise, you will not do anything more than that one striking. And as long as he is alive, I want you to take care of him. That was that kindness and the justice of Amir al-Mu'mineen, even in those very troublesome, difficult situations that he was going through. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is in this wound. His head is tied, and now he is brought home. In the home also, people, they are gathering and clustering around the Imam, and here on and off Imam, he just faints and passes out. Was crying excessively. When he turned his face, sees all the tears, they are rolling down his beard, invites Imam Mujtaba, and then speaks to him, has the wasiyat and the will recited for him, and the same to Imam Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, and to so many people who were there. Now, among those people who were there, ثُمَّ الْتَفَتَ إِلَى وَلَدِهِ الْحَسَنِ. Imam looks at his son Hassan. قَالَ إِرْفَقْ يَا وَلَدِي بِأَسِيرِكَ. When Imam Mujtaba was crying and these tears fell on the Mubarak face of the Imam, Imam opened his eyes and says that, Ya Hassan, why do you cry? Why do you cry? This is something that had to happen. And I see Rasulullah standing in front of me. I see your mother Fatima, she is greeting and welcoming me. And soon, Hassan, you also will go through the same fate. You will be poisoned. And your brother Hussein, he will be killed with the sword on Ashura. This is for us, it's all destined and written, and we all have to go through this. Says, your mother is waiting for me, your grandfather is waiting for me, and again has his wasiyah towards Ibn Muljam. Says, wa ahsin ilayh, be good to this Ibn Muljam, be kind to him. Don't you see his eyes, how they are rolling? Don't you see him, how he is worried? Don't you see his palpitation, how it has raised due to fear and worry? Hassan, be good to him. Now, when Imam, all the physicians in town, the best of them, they are brought, and then some of them, they say that milk is good for the Imam. And this news also spread fast in Kufa, and everyone came to Imam with some milk, that this milk is good for the Imam, give it to him. So when the milk also was offered, Imam has a little sip and then first says, give it to the captive, give it to Ibn Muljam. So first, and then tell him that this was sent to you by the Imam. They bring and give it to Ibn Muljam. That was it to such a kind person. This is what he deserved. Now, Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, in these 2-3 days that he was ill and wounded, the prayers he offered were all in the sitting posture. One of the other companions of the Imam is Asbagh. Asbagh comes to see him. Now over here, Imam says that Saluni qabla an tafqiduni, that ask before you lose me, whatever you want, ask me. Just keep your questions short and ask me. Some silly questions were asked by some people. And then Imam speaks to Asbagh. Asbagh, he's the companion, and Imam prays for him. When he sees the status of the Imam, he recites a poem, and then Imam prays for him for all the good and well-being. And then says, Asbagh, are you here? He says, yes, Ya Amirul Mu'mineen, I'm just here sitting by your side. Says Asbagh, shall I say something to you? A hadith from Rasulullah. He says, yes, Ya Amirul Mu'mineen, say please. Says, in one of these trips that I was with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, I was sad. Ana maghmoom, I was sad. قد تبين الغم في وجهي قال لي, that is Rasulullah, he saw me that I'm sad and he said, Ya Abul Hasan, I see you sad. Shall I say something to you that this sadness and grief of yours is away forever? He says, yes, Ya Rasulullah, please tell me. Rasulullah says, Ali إذا كان يوم القيامة نسب الله منبرا يعلو منابر النبيين والشهداء. On the day of judgment, Allah will, a member, a pulpit will be placed. Says a member, a pulpit on which the Anbiya, they used to ascend, and the Shuhada, they used to sit on. Says that member will be placed, ثُمَّ يَأْمُرِنِ اللَّهُ, then Allah will command me to get and mount that member. I will sit on the member, on the top seat. And then ثُمَّ يَأْمُرُكَ اللَّهُ, then Allah will command you to sit on the next level down below me. And then 2 angels, they will come. They will also sit in the next level below your seat. فَيَجْلِسَانْ دُونَكَ. And then فَإِذَا اسْتَقْلَلْنَا عَلَى الْمِنْبَرِ لَا يَبْقَى أَحَدٌ مِنَ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَالْآخِرِينَ إِلَّا حَذَرٍ. Says, when we will be seated on the minbar, we have all settled now. Says, all of the people from the congregation, from the firstmost to the lastmost, all of them, they will see us. Everyone will see. And then for Yunadi, they will all see us on the minbar. And now, for Yunad al-Malak alladhi dunak, the angel below me, he will make this announcement. Says, Ma'ashar an-nas, O people, Man arafani faqad arafani. Those who know me, they know me. Those who do not know me, let me introduce myself to you all. Ana Ridwan, I am Ridwan, and the custodian of the heaven. Allah, إن الله يمن بمنه وكرمه وفضله وجلاله. Allah, by His favors, by His bestowals, by His giving, by His generosity, He has commanded me to give the keys of the heaven to Rasulullah. And that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has commanded me that I give the charge and the keys of the heaven to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. And I've given the keys to Ali. Fashhadu li alayh. All of you be witness. All of you see that the keys are with Ali. And then the other angel that was sitting below Amir al-Mu'mineen by Rizwan, he makes the announcement and says that, O inhabitants, O dwellers here, those who know me, they know me. Those who do not know me, I will introduce myself. Says, I am the custodian of the hell and the fire. And these are the keys that are given to me. I also surrender them to Rasulullah, and Rasulullah also has commanded to give those keys to Amir al-Mu'mineen. Says the keys of both the hell and the heaven are with Amir al-Mu'mineen. He is the distributor of the hell and the heaven. That when we say that Qasimun Nar wal Jannah, both of the keys are with him. Whosoever is with Amir al-Mu'mineen is safe. One of the du'as that people generally ask for in these Laylatul Qadr is that God give us the heaven. Heaven is something that Allah will definitely give. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, He says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Definitely mu'mineen, they are successful, they are prosperous. And who are the mu'mineen? Those who believe in the one God, believe in Risalat, believe in Qiyamat, believe in Imamat. These are the mu'mineen. Says the least that Allah will give to mu'mineen is the heaven. That is the least. Just like when you go to someone invites you and he's offered so many different kinds of food he has prepared. So like the salt and the starters and all that, so heaven is like the starter that will be given to everyone who is a believer. So in these Layali Qadr, ask for something great, ask for something big. Heaven will definitely be given. Hell, definitely every one of us will be away from, no doubt in that. Because Quran says on numerous occasions, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Definitely. Qad means certainly, definitely. Aflaha means prosperous. Mu'minun means believers. Says definitely mu'mineen, they are prosperous. Definitely mu'mineen, they are successful. So when they are prosperous means they are definitely in the heaven. Definitely they are out of the hell. So in the heaven and all those blessings that you are getting from Allah, in that we have to decide now. So what do we ask? That is, adkhilni fi kulli khairin adkhalta fihi Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. That Allah enter us all into all the good that you entered Muhammad and ala Muhammad in it. And bring us out from every evil, every shar that you had kept away Muhammad and ala Muhammad. Amir al-Mu'mineen recites this hadith to Asbagh and says, from that day I never got sad ever. After this hadith that was recited to me, told to me by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Amir al-Mu'mineen Qasimun Nar wal Jannah, distributor of the hell and the heaven. He has his wasaya to his sons. The physicians, they are brought. One of the physicians, he says that get me some fresh liver. From a goat was slaughtered, fresh liver was given to him. From the fresh liver, he takes out a vein, places the vein in the wound of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, blows into it, and then says, Ya Ali, starts hitting his own head, says, Ya Ali, recite your wasiyah, as this wound is fatal. All this toxin and poison of this wound has reached your body, the entire body. Your feet are also all poisoned now. Recite your wasiyah as nothing can be done. Imam starts his wasiyah. And among those wasiyah that he had, he brings Imam Mujtaba before him and says, after me, Hassan, you are the Imam. And everyone present in that meeting, Imam gives their hands into the hand of Imam Mujtaba alayhi salam. Here, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and Abu al-Fazl al-Abbas, Hazrat Zainab were opted out. Then Imam al-Banin says, how come these hands were not given in the hands of Imam Mujtaba? Imam says, wait, al-Banin. Then says, Hussein, you step forward. And then Imam Hussein, when he steps forward, says, Abu al-Fazl al-Abbas, come ahead. And then Hazrat Zainab says, you have to be in charge and take care of this Hussein of mine in Karbala. On the day of judgment, let me be proud of the services that you will be rendering towards my Hussein. Don't let my head lower on the day of judgment, Abu al-Fazl al-Abbas, and gives the hand of Abu al-Fazl al-Abbas into the hands of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. That wafa that was seen in Abu al-Fazl was the wafa that was seen in Amir al-Mu'mineen towards Rasulullah, is the same wafa that he inherits from his father Abu Talib towards Rasulullah throughout his life, and in particular in that Shi'b Abi Talib. Amir al-Mu'mineen, with all that beauty that he carried, he departed from this dunya. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إلهي بحق الزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها، يا الله 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 يا الله. اللهم أحينا حياة محمد وآل محمد وأمتنا ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم ارزقنا في الدنيا زيارة محمد وآل محمد وفي الآخرة شفاعة محمد وآل محمد. ماتم حسين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. بی عطر یاس کوچه معطر نمی شود، بی کیمیای او مثل ما زر نمی شود. شبهای قدر اگرچه که تقدیر سال ماست، بی گوش چشم یار مقدر نمی شود. بیهوده فیض اشک را به هر کس نمی دهند، بی اذن دوست دیده ما تر نمی شود. باید شبیه موج در این راه بشکنی، نابرد رنج گنج میسر نمی شود. یا ایها العزیز، خدا را عنایتی، بی ذکر نام تو شب ما سر نمی شود. دنیا اسیر درد و مصیبت شده، بیا حال جهان بدون تو بهتر نمی شود. امشب بیا به حرمت فرق شکافته، ما را بخر به خاطر حیدر نمی شود. نمیشه ما را برای حرمت جدت امیر المؤمنین بخری، برای دختر چی بدتر از این، ببینه باباشو با روی خونی. رفتی به مسجد با قلبی خسته، برگشتی اما با فرق شکسته. آه ای مسافر اومدی حالا سبک بال، آخر گرفتی حاجتت رو بعد 30 سال، راحت میشی از بی وفایی های کوفه، از خاطرات کوچه ای مولای کوفه، سهمت شده چشم تری تو این شبای آخری، چشم انتظار مادری، بابای مظلومم علی، بابای مظلومم علی، بابای مظلومم علی جان. والحمد لله.
أحسنتم أحسنتم.
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین، ابن ملجم نے حیدر کو مارا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، ابن ملجم نے حیدر کو مارا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، ہائے چھٹتا ہے اب تم سے مولا، ہائے چھٹتا ہے اب تم سے مولا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، ابن ملجم نے حیدر کو مارا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، سنی قبر رسول خدا ہے، گھر میں زہرا کے ماتم بپا ہے، سنی قبر رسول خدا ہے، گھر میں زہرا کے ماتم بپا ہے، خاک اڑاتا ہے حیدر کا کنبا، خاک اڑاتا ہے حیدر کا کنبا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، ابن ملجم نے حیدر کو مارا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، آل احمد پہ آفت ہے آئی، بے قصوں پر یتیمی ہے چھائی، آل احمد پہ آفت ہے آئی، بے قصوں پر یتیمی ہے چھائی، اٹھ گیا سر سے حیدر کا سایہ، اٹھ گیا سر سے حیدر کا سایہ، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، ابن ملجم نے حیدر کو مارا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، گھر میں خالق کے حیدر کو مارا، جانشین پیمبر کو مارا، گھر میں خالق کے حیدر کو مارا، جانشین پیمبر کو مارا، ہائے سجدے میں سرور کو مارا، ہائے سجدے میں سرور کو مارا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، ابن ملجم نے حیدر کو مارا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، کیوں نہ روئے یہ وہ غم نہیں ہے، شب یہ عاشور سے کم نہیں ہے، کیوں نہ روئے یہ وہ غم نہیں ہے، شب یہ عاشور سے کم نہیں ہے، خلد میں بھی یہ ماتم ہے برپا، خلد میں بھی یہ ماتم ہے برپا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، ابن ملجم نے حیدر کو مارا، روزے دار و قیامت کے دن ہے، یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین۔
کہنے لگے
وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے، دیکھ کر بیٹوں کا چہرہ یہ علی کہنے لگے، وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے،
دیکھ کر بیٹوں کا چہرہ یہ علی کہنے لگے، وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے،
زخم ضربت کا وہاں پر دیکھنا ظاہر نہ ہو، خون سر سے صاف کر کے پھر امامہ باندھ دو، بیٹیاں گھبرا نہ جائیں میری حالت دیکھ کے،
وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے،
دیکھ کر کلثوم کو یہ زندگی بڑھ جائے گی، باپ کچھ دن اور جی لے بیٹیوں کے سامنے، وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے
پاس لے جاؤ مجھے، وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے،
دیکھ کر زینب کو میری سانس میں سانس آئے گی، دیکھ کر کلثوم کو یہ زندگی بڑھ جائے گی، باپ کچھ دن اور جی لے بیٹیوں کے سامنے،
وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے،
وقت کم ہے
بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے،
کل میں جب کلثوم کے گھر سے چلا رونے لگی، میرے سینے سے لپٹ کر مجھ سے یہ کہنے لگی، جا رہے ہیں لوٹ کر پھر آئیں گے کب گھر میرے،
وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے،
لے چلو اب بیٹیوں سے دور میں کیسے رہوں، زینب و کلثوم کے جا کر میں شان چوم لوں، ہاں اسی کوفے میں ہوں گے ہاتھ دونوں کے بندھے،
وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے،
دیکھ کر عباس کا چہرہ علی نے یہ کہا، سامنے رہنا ہمیشہ اوڑھ کر میری ابا، بیٹیاں جیتی رہے چہرہ تمہارا دیکھ کر،
وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے، دیکھ کر بیٹوں کا چہرہ یہ علی نے بولا، وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے۔
ہائے پھر شبیر سے روتے ہوئے بولے علی، وہ اگر مانگے تو دے دے نا نشانی باپ کی، یہ مصلی ساتھ رکھ لو میری زینب کے لیے۔
وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے،
اس لیے ہی باپ سے بیٹی کا ہے رشتہ عجب، بیٹیاں ہیں باپ کی میت پہ رونق کا سبب، خوش نصیبی ہے خدا بیٹی عطا کر دے جسے۔
وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے،
دیکھ کر بیٹوں کا چہرہ یہ علی کہنے لگے،
وقت کم ہے بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے، وقت کم ہے
بیٹیوں کے پاس لے جاؤ مجھے۔
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد۔
أحسنتم. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولمن وجب له حق علينا ولمن وصانا بالدعاء ولجميع أمة محمد وآل محمد لأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات. الفاتحة مع الصلوات. تقبل Allah. Thank you all. التماس دعاء.
Thank you, Maulana.
التماس دعاء. شکریہ.
سب کا شکریہ. تمہارا
اللہ حافظ.